tonight. And we're going to do the whole arc of, of women filmmakers. Dorothy Arzner.
40 years, I guess, yeah.
Going into Ida Lupino, going into Elaine May, going into Joan Darling. These aren't women's films.
No, and they're not little esoteric things. They're very much of their time. Particularly when we end in the middle 70s, and I think back in the middle 70s were a time of such excitement for women. Women's liberation was in the conversation.
Well, I think Dorothy Arzner, Ida Lupino, Elaine May, we really need to reevaluate. These are just great films. Well, here we go. The Heartbreak Kid, one of my favorite movies of all time. Directed by Elaine May, starring Jeannie Berlin, Charles Grodin. What I love about this film is that it is a comedy, but it moves as close to the line to tragedy as you possibly can go. And I think that for me, being an actress, Jeannie Berlin, who's nominated for an Academy Award, literally creates like an archetype of a kind of an endearing victim.
Yeah, and she wears it all right out there.
It's just brilliant.
It's a gutsy performance in many ways.
Is brilliant. But let's talk a little bit about Elaine May, her beginnings.
And she's such a fabulous talent.
Incredible.
You know what I remember is listening to my mother laugh, really laugh. And she was watching Elaine May and Mike Nichols routines, which you can still YouTube these things, and people should, because the excitement of the young talent that was then Elaine May and Mike Nichols, just reverberates. It's just so inspiring in so many ways and exciting. It's like the potential that's there. And then you look at, of course, Mike Nichols' incredible career.
Yes.
And Elaine May only directs a couple, because Heartbreak Kid, once again, it's a hit, it's fine. But a woman's film is perceived as a fluke, not as a pattern. And then she directs Ishtar with Warren Beatty and Dustin Hoffman, two of the acknowledged great talents, but also two of the most difficult actors, demanding actors of our time. And who's blamed for the failure of Ishtar? Elaine May.
Yes, and that's a tragedy, and I do think I agree with you. I think it's because she's a woman, but I still think that Elaine May, with her body of work, with even as narrow as it is,
but she goes on to write, and she writes, we forget, The Birdcage. She adapts The Birdcage. Primary Colors, which, again, the wit of that is amazing.
So her fingerprints, which is a whole nother series we should do, is that her fingerprints are on some classic American films.
And careers, yes, absolutely.
Heaven Can Wait.
An amazing talent. But again, I think we need to be advised that women aren't allowed to fail. Women are just not allowed to fail, and men are.
Well, she talked about when she did A New Leaf, and she said, well, it didn't help that Walter Matthau called me Miss Hitler. So that would be a problem as a female director.
Yeah, well.
And she said that some of her problems were that she said, I should have been tougher because I started out trying to be nice. And
fatal. No.
and she said, I wasn't nice, but so I should have maybe been, tougher. But I think as a director, she puts her stamp with A New Leaf, but then with Heartbreak Kid, I believe she just creates a type of comedy, that uncomfortable comedy that people later like Albert Brooks did, but the relationship...
Well, you can see so many things that come out of this kind of comedy.
And I almost forgot a fantastic use of Sybil Shepherd. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's a very nuanced performance from her.
Yes. Well, this is a fantastic film where everyone is in for such a treat to see this movie. Amazing performances all around. Charles Grodin, Jeannie Berlin, Eddie Albert. I can't wait to talk about it. Here it is from 1972 with a screenplay by Neil Simon, co-starring Elaine May's daughter, Jeannie Berlin. Here is The Heartbreak Kid.